Hello everyone, today in this video we will be discussing the first module of 18 CS51, which is management and entrepreneurship for IT industry. Okay, so in this course we will be just learning the theoretical topics regarding what's happening in the industry and some things about management and entrepreneurship. Okay, so if you like this video, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Okay, so let's get started with the module 1. These are the topics which I have written from the syllabus. So after going through the notes, I prepared a mind map. So these are the topics which will be focusing upon. The first one is management, and the second one is planning, and the third one is organizing, and the fourth one is staffing. Okay, so in each of these topic we have subtopics. Like for in management we have definition, nature and characteristics. Then we will be discussing two topics which are management functions and management theories. Okay, like that similarly for planning, organizing and staffing also. Okay, so let's get started with the first one, which is management. So I have written some questions from the previous year paper which were asked under the topic of management. So as we go through the topics, we'll be seeing if the topic has a question which was asked in the previous year paper, and we'll be discussing the answer here only. Okay, so the first question is define management and explain the functions of management. Let's now go to the topics. The first one is nature of management, and the definition of management is, according to Mary Follett, management is the art of getting things done through people. Okay, management, we all know what is management, that's the same thing, and the definition is also describing the same thing. Okay, and the nature of management has few key aspects, which is the first one is multidisciplinary. Means management has to do with the various other domains like economics, sociology, psychology, statistics, operations and research. Okay, and it is dynamic in nature and relative. Okay, means as the time goes and the circumstances change, the management theories should also change. Okay, to cope up with the changes happening in the world. Okay, and management is a combination of science, art and profession, and finally it is universal, means it's acknowledged, practiced and needed all over the world. Okay, coming to characteristics of management, it's a continuous process, it's an art as well as science, and it aims at achieving predetermined objectives. Means there is a goal for each company, and what does management do? It manages the resources and everything, so to reach the goal in the most optimal way. Okay, and it's a factor of production. Means the more good the management is, the more good the company will be. Okay, and it's a decision making process, universal application, it's needed at all levels, it aims at maximum profit, and dynamic, it's a career, profession as well as discipline. Okay, now let's talk about the second part of the question, which is management functions. It has 7 categories. The first one is planning, means how the task should be performed, and organizing the resources and the people. In staffing, means which person will do what, that will be assigned, and directing means controlling, means giving the direction of what the person is supposed to do, and controlling means supervising the work of the people. Innovation means bringing in new ideas, and representation, okay, means after the project is done, that will be shown to other people, as well as the manager is the representative of the company. Okay, means if there is any deal to be made with the company, the manager will be the one whom the talk will be made to. Okay, so these are the functions of the manager, and there are few areas in which management is very important. Okay, so the first one is production. Production means whenever you purchase some materials and the resources, at that time the resources and everything should be managed in a proper way, so that the best use of the resources will be made, and the job will be done in the efficient manner. Okay, so that's the first area in which the management is required. And the second one is marketing. Marketing means promoting the product, and it involves advertising, marketing, research and sales management. Okay, so this is the second area. And the third area is finance and accounting. Okay, this area involves management of finance, contracts, documents, costs and investments. And the fourth one is personal. That means this involves the human resource management. Okay, means the salaries and the wages of the people. Okay, moving on, we have the second question, which is what is the difference between management and administration. Okay, administration is defined as the person who sets the rules. Okay, means these are the rules to be followed, And what does management do? It will guide the it will force the execution of the rules. Okay, means this is the theoretical part and this is the practical part. Okay, in that we can understand. And the next one is, what are the roles of manager? It can be divided into three parts. The first one is interpersonal, second is information, and third one is decisional. Okay, so let's look each of the role one by one. Okay, interpersonal has three subtopics which are closely related to each other, which is figurehead, leader, and liaison. Okay, that means it manager represents the company, and it's a liaison means it's an intermediate between two companies. Okay, and the next one is information manager. Okay, means what are the documents of the company and other informations, and it monitors it, and it also acts as a spokesperson, okay, for the company. And the last one is decisional. It makes the decisions on the entrepreneurship and disturbance handler, means if any issue arises among the colleagues, that will be handled by the manager. And the resource allocator means the manager will be telling how much resource is to be used for a particular task. And the last one is negotiator. Okay, the next one is explain in detail the levels of management. Okay, so basically there are three levels. The first one is the top level, in which we can find the board of directors, chairman, and CEOs. Okay, and next comes the middle management, which consists of the department of head of department, divisional heads, and section heads. Okay, the last one is the supervisor and the frontline supervisor. Those people will come. Okay, so what are their tasks? The first one is top level management. In this, the people will determine what is the objective of the organization. Okay, the main goal and the aim of the organization, for what the organization has been made. Okay, so that will be determined by the top level management. The next task is they relate to profit, business growth, and survival, and other factors, okay, which are crucial for the company. And then last one is control operations, means the top level managers will be giving the directions and what is to be done and how it is to be done. Okay, coming to the next level, which is middle management, they help in the execution of the orders given by the top level. Okay, and the next one is to make the cooperation among the colleagues and to develop better functionalities and train the employees. Okay, the last one is the low level, in which the jobs are assigned to the workers and to arrange for the tools required and to inform if any issue arises. Okay, let's now talk about the management theories. So the management is being studied from a very long time. So there are three eras in which the management was being studied. The first one is the early classical approach, in which it has three categories. The first two are very important from an exam point of view. Okay, and after the early classical approach, we have neoclassical approaches and modern approaches. Okay, so let's look each of the topic one by one. Okay, in early classical approach, the first one is the scientific management. It was given by Frederick Winslow Taylor. Okay, this is the fourth question where I have mentioned the previous year questions, right? The fourth question's answer is this one. Okay, now let's talk about this one, the scientific management. The Taylor started his career as an engineer in the steel company in USA, and he researched in the field of management. Okay, so what were his findings? The first one is the time and motion study, means for suppose that there is a company A, and in that company he observed each people's job and how much time they took to do the job and how much they moved from one place to other, that he calculated. Okay, based on that, the most optimal job was chosen. Okay, that is the first finding. And the second one is differential payment. Differential payment means the payment increases or decreases based on the productivity rate. Okay, means if a person does more work, his payment will increase or else it will decrease. Okay, and reorganization means the job is to be split into two parts and given to two persons, foreman and worker. Foreman will tell what to do and a worker will do the task. Okay, in this way the productivity will be increased. And the next one is scientific recruitment and training. The worker should be trained on the concepts of management, and those people who have scientific knowledge should share with their colleagues. Okay, and the last one is friendly cooperation, means if there are colleagues in a company who have friendly relations with each other, at that time there will be more productivity, thereby leading to the growth of business. Okay, so these were the findings of Taylor under the topic scientific management. Okay, the next one is administrative So before that we can see the advantages and limitations of this technique. The advantage is, the first one is that it becomes more efficient, the process, and the scientific selection of workers has made us recognize that without the training a person cannot do the job properly. Okay, so training is important. And the next one is, we came to know the best ways of doing a job. Okay, and coming to limitations, there are few limitations as well. There are other needs like security and social needs which needs to be taken care of, which are not mentioned in the findings of Taylor. Okay, and Taylor's method is not entirely scientific and there are some contradiction in it, and advances in the methods eliminated some workers who found it difficult to perform. See, as the technology gets advanced, the topics will become hard to understand. Okay, so there are some people who will be eliminated. So what is to be done with them? They also need to be given the opportunities, right? So that is also needed to be taken care of, which was not mentioned in the Taylor's findings. Okay, so these are the three limitations. The next one is the administrative management. Okay, this is the sixth question answer in the questions which I have mentioned. Okay, so here we'll be discussing the Foyle's principles. So Henry Foyle was a French mining engineer turned a leading industrialist and a successful manager. Okay, so the 14 principles of the Foyles are as follows. These are about the management. So by reading the topic only we can understand what it means. Like for example, division of work. That means the work should be divided into many subparts so that it will be performed simultaneously. Okay, and authority and responsibility, discipline, unity of command and unity of direction. That means if there are many seniors in the company, the directions should be given by a single senior. Otherwise, if many seniors give different directions, whom to be followed, that will create a confusion, right? So unity of command and direction should be there. For one task, only one senior should say one thing. Okay, and subordination of individual interest to general interest. That means each person will have their own interest, right? That should be transformed into a general interest. That means what is the main goal of the company, that everyone should be focused upon. Okay, and the next one is remuneration. That means the salary should be increased as time goes so that it will keep the motivation of the workers. Okay, and centralization. That means there should be a central authority to monitor what are the works happening and if it's right or not. And scalar chain means the authority hierarchy means from the top level to the lower level. And order, equity, those things are nothing but the maintain the order of the task to be done. And equity means everyone should be given the opportunity without any biasment. And stability of tenure means after the time gets over, means if it's a retirement time or they should be paid according to their experience. And the stability of tenure also consists of they should not be given overtime work. And initiative and team motivation means bring in new ideas and innovations to the company. Okay, so these are the 14 principles of Foyle. Let's discuss quickly about the advantages and limitations. Advantages include the principles were widely accepted and it created a new school of thought. And what are the limitations? Since we divide the main task into many subtasks, what happens is each of the group will have their own rules. Okay, that will lead to the disturbance in the unity. Okay, there will be no unity. So that's one of the limitation. And second one is it leads to dissatisfaction among the workers. Okay, because it does not give them the opportunity to use their abilities. Okay, if they have any other idea, they cannot execute that one. Okay, so that's the second limitation. And coming to the third one, there are few contradictions and dilemmas in the Foyle's principles. And the last one is the findings are based on a few case studies. So whether this can be applied in the general rule or not, that's a question till now. Okay, so we cannot apply for sure for all the cases because the study was based on only a few case studies. Okay, so these are the 4 limitations. Let's discuss about the third approach under the classical approaches of management, which is bureaucracy. Okay, so before talking about bureaucracy, let's see what are the 3 types of administration. The first one is a king rule, means whatever king says that should be followed by the public. Okay, the second one is tradition oriented. That means what are the positions of the first generation, that will be handed down to the second generation, and so on. Okay, and the third one is bureaucratic oriented. That means based on the person's abilities and skills, they will be granted the position of the work. Okay, so what are the important features of bureaucratic administration? The first one is insistence on following the standard rules. The second is systemic division of work and principles of hierarchy followed, not necessary for the individual to have knowledge of and training in the application of the rules. See, these are the things which are mostly theoretical topics, so I was just reading the topics, and I hope so that's enough for the explanation purpose as well. So let's move on to the next one, which is advantages and the limitations of. The advantage is that the people have to perform less tasks than as the tasks are distributed. Since they are distributed, there are many small groups and the subdivisions which will be harder to be maintained. That's one of the disadvantages. Okay, so this marks the end of the first one, which is early approaches, and that is only important from the exam point of view. The remaining one is not that much, and it's not asked also in the previous papers. So we have two more left, which is neoclassical and modern. So in neoclassical, we have the first one, human relations approach. Okay, in this they emphasize that the organization is the social system and the human factor is the most important. Okay, so some of the key aspects of the human relations are social system, social environment, informal organization, group dynamics, and informal leader. Okay, these are self-explanatory topics. And the next one is behavioral approach. This is the same as the previous one, which is the human relation approach, but here the behavior is studied more in more depth. Okay, and coming to modern approaches, the first one is quantitative approach. That means the data is given to the persons performing the research, and based on the data they find the what is the best possible solution for a given problem. Okay, so for example, to make the military decisions means what is the best equipment to be used, they will be considering the factors of the cost and the number of people, means in the enemy's army how many people are there, and what is the you get the point, right? Means those factors they will consider, and based on that they will make the decision. That is quantitative approach. And second one is systems approach. A system is nothing but the set of interdependent parts which form a unit as a whole. Okay, that performs some function. Okay, based on this the interdependent parts are studied and the system approach is followed. Okay, and the next one is contingency approach. In this the solution is being focused on for a specific condition, not for the general purpose. There is a specific issue which is arised in a company, so to manage that issue we will be using the contingency approach. We will be considering the factors specific to that company, and based on that we will be designing the specific solutions. Okay, that is contingency approach. The next one is planning, and the questions asked under this topic are define planning, explain the types of plans, and explain the steps involved in decision making. Okay, so let's discuss each of the question one by one. What is the nature of planning? By starting with the definition, planning, we already know what is planning. That means the roadmap of what we have to do, the tasks, that's known as planning. And the nature of planning has these key aspects. Planning is the beginning of the process of management. A manager must plan before in advance what he is going to do and organize the staff and all. And planning is an intellectual process that involves what is to be done, when it is to be done, how it is to be done, and who has to do it. And the third one is it's a continuous process, because as the circumstances change we have to change the plan. Okay, and it must be flexible for the new changes. Okay, the next one is the importance of planning. It minimizes risk and uncertainty, it leads to success, focus attention on the organization goals, and facilitates control and trains executives. Executives means what are the plans we have, means what is the task to be done. While planning it we can visualize what is going to be done, right? That is known as trains executive. Okay, and what are the type of plans? There are 5 type of plans. The first one is strategic plan. That is the normal type of plan which we make, means first we will do this one, then this one, then this one, like that. Okay, that is a strategic plan. And tactical plan means seeing the resources, how much we have, how much we can do. Means suppose that for 1 year we have a resource like 50 resources. Okay, then within 1 year what are the tasks can be achieved, that will be planned. Then next year we will get more 50, what can be done, like that we will plan, right? That's known as tactical plan. And contingency plan, this plan changes according to specific circumstances. Okay, and operation plan has the daily tasks in it, and directional versus specific plan. Specific plan means a particular goal will be there, will be focused on achieving that goal, and directional means we will be changing the plan accordingly as how the circumstances change. Okay, there will be no specific goal in that. That is the directional plan. And the overall mind map is the objective will be defined, means what the company is for, what it does, and then plan the strategies for it. And then we have two types, non-repetitive activities and repetitive activities. Okay, in this one we have single use plans, means once we plan, budget and program, we can't change it, whereas here the updates will be going on frequently. Okay, and the steps of plan are also very simple. Establish the verifiable goals, means establish your goal, then plan the premises, what are the resources required, and deciding the planning period, how much time the plan will take, how much time it will take to execute the plan. And in case due to any reason if the plan does not work, what we have to have is an alternate plan. Okay, and evaluating and selecting the alternate course of action, and then developing the plan, and finally measuring the control process. Okay, so these are the few steps in which we can plan a good task. Okay, and moving on, we have the question, what are the steps involved in decision making? Okay, decision making is a choice which is made when there are alternatives, and there are few steps in it. The first one is recognizing the problem. Okay, means unless we recognize what's the problem, we can't solve it. Okay, so recognize the problem, then decide the priorities. Okay, and then diagnose the problem, why it is happening, that reasons we will find out. Then we will develop the solutions for it, and then we will measure the computational resources required, and then if the decision is successful, we will implement it, else we will repeat this process once again. Okay, this is the decision making process, and you can explain in your own words each of these steps. Okay, so I have not explained written the explanation here. Okay, you can explain this in your own words according to how much you understand. The next one is the organizing. Okay, after getting to know about the management and planning, we need to know how to organize the resources. The question which is asked mostly under this topic is, explain the types of organization in detail with the advantages and disadvantages. In the answer which I have written here, I have not mentioned advantage and disadvantage because there are many types of organization and each have a list of advantage and disadvantage. Okay, so what you need to do is you can write the advantage to your understanding of the question. Okay, so you have to write this one and this one by your own knowledge. Okay, so let's get started. The first one is nature of organization. In nature of organization, we have few key aspects, which is the first one is people. An organization basically consists of a group of people who form a group, who form a dynamic human element of the organization. Okay, people is the first part of organization, and the next one is common purpose. That means what's the common goal, why is the organization existing, what's its aim, that's the common purpose. And the third one is coordination. Coordination means it ensures to achieve coordination amongst people working in various departments of the organization. Coordination is very important for the growth of the business. The fourth one is authority. This is to maintain the responsibility and the control directives of the organization. Okay, and environment, since the people are influenced due to the environment, that should be maintained very well. Okay, the sixth one is division of work. See, the work should be given to those people who can perform it, so the main task will be divided into many sub parts which will be then given to different people. And the last one is communication. It facilitates the seamless communication. Okay, if you have an organization here, then there will be communication between the people which will lead to more effective ideas to come up from the organization. Okay, and what is the purpose of organization? This is the same things which we have already mentioned here, like to facilitate the pattern of communication and to allocate authority, to locate the decision centers, to create proper balance, and to stimulate creativity. Okay, and types of organization here, it's important from exam point of view. Based on profitability, there are two types, business and non-profit organization. Okay, and based on structure, formal or informal. The following are the common types of organization found in a place in a structure of internal organization. Okay, so here are few types under the structure of internal organization, which are line organization and functional organization and line and staff organization. Okay, so let's discuss each one by one. In line organization, what we have is, there is a hierarchy here. The general manager will have the sub managers here, which is a production and finance manager and marketing manager. Okay, and they will have under them other people who will be working on the task. Okay, like superintendent and foreman and workers. Okay, this is the reducing level of hierarchy. Okay, And similarly here we have the finance manager, assistant finance manager, accountant and clerks. Okay, similarly in marketing we have assistant marketing manager, sales supervisor and salesman. Okay, this type of organization is known as line organization. Okay, and the next one is functional organization. Here the tasks are divided into many parts based on the functions. Okay, means if this is a function A, B and C. Okay, what are these small groups doing? These are performing some independent functions. Okay, which will contribute to the main organization. This classification based on the function of the production, that is known as functional organization. Okay, and line and staff is nothing but the combination of line and functional organization, and the specialists are attached to the line managers to advise them on important matters. Okay, so what happens is you can see in the diagram here, these are the specialists. Okay, executive committee, managing director and controller of finance. Okay, and these three are controlled by board of directors. Okay, under each of these we have sub managers. So this type of division is known as the line and staff organization. Okay, and committees and committee organization, that means a committee is a group of people who have been formally assigned some task or some problem for their decision and implementation. Example, advisory committee, executive committee and so on. Okay, so these what they do is they solve a specific problem which they are assigned. Okay, and next very important question is differentiate between MBO and MBE. MBO means management by objective and MBE means management by exception. In exam if they ask, you have to write more than this one, but basically I will tell you the main concept behind it. Okay, then you can elaborate it in your own words. MBO means management by objective. That means the process is what are the tasks need to be done, that is specified for each of the people. Okay, so suppose that this is an organization here, company A, and here are the people working under it. Okay, there is a manager here. What manager does is it will say each of the people what to do. Okay, so based on that they will be performing the task. Whereas in MBE, management by exception, what happens is the company will say to all the employees what is the task to be done, like a task T. Okay, this is to be done. Now what they do is they plan among themselves like how to do it, and then they start doing on it. Okay, and manager will not do anything until an issue arises. Okay, if an issue comes, then only manager will interfere, or else he will let the employees to do the task. Okay, this is known as management by exception. Okay, the last topic is staffing. Staffing means we are selecting the people who will be performing the task in our organization. Okay, so the questions are, what is recruitment? Explain various sources of recruitment. What is selection? What is selection, and explain the details. Explain in detail the process of selection. Okay, these answers will be looking in the upcoming topics. Okay, so what is the nature and importance of staffing? Starting with the definition, basically staffing is defined as the filling and keeping the filled various positions in the organization structure. Okay, means wherever space is there for some vacant job, at that time we will be choosing some people who are meeting the requirements of the job, and then we will be assigning them the task. Okay, that is known as staffing. Selecting the team for your organization, that is staffing. Okay, and what is the importance? Because increasing size of organization, as the size increases they need to have more people, so therefore we will need to hire more people. Okay, and the second one is advancement of technology. See, as the technology advances, we have more complex concepts. To handle it more effectively, we need more people. Okay, so therefore staffing is important. And the third one is long range needs of manpower. Okay, although everything is digitizing now, but still manpower is very important. So we need manpower for tasks which cannot be performed by automation. Okay, so last one is recognition of human relations. Okay, if there is an employee A and employee B both having the same skills, whom you will select? That cannot be decided by a computer. That for that we need a recruiter who is a human, right? So we need staffing for that purpose. Okay, so basically what is recruitment? Recruitment is the process of identifying the proper candidates for the job which is to be given to them. Okay, so there are various sources which is internal and external. In internal, we have the transfer and promotion, which happens after one is selected in the company, and then external. External involves direct recruitment, unsolicited applications, advertising, employment agencies, educational institutions, labor contract, and recommendations. Okay. And what is selection? Within an organization, a place has become vacant for the job, and the person who has experience in the same job, that person will be selected. Okay, that is known as selection. And these are the steps of selection procedure. Job analysis. First, you will be given with an information about what the job is. Then the job description will be shown to you, what exactly you will be working on, that will be specified here. And then application blank, that means you will fill a form in which you show your interest to apply for the job, and then you will have an interview here, and then you will go through some tests like coding test and other tests like aptitude, and then the interview will check for the references, and then the physical and medical examination, and then the final interview. And then based on your performance, you will be given an appointment letter if you are successful. This marks the end of the module 1, and thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.